That's my game. I look for some big hits. I'm a tone setter, just my physicality and my intensity. After, I'm not afraid to mix it up, and if a guy wants to kind of go toe-to-toe with me, I'm willing to accept that.
Welcome to another episode of Game Tape with Tony. As always, I'm your host, Tony Ferrari. Today, I'm pleased to be joined by Kashawn Aitcheson from the Barrie Colts. How's it going today?
Good, how are you?
Not too bad. Thank you for doing this. Should be a lot of fun. But let's start with where you started in hockey. Who got you into the game and how did that process go?
My grandparents and my uncle kind of got me into the game. They were obviously huge into hockey. My grandpa's a huge Bruins fan, so that's kind of what got me going in this direction.
So as a Toronto kid, being a Bruins fan,
Yeah.
how was that for you?
Yeah, obviously you got a lot of chirps, but when we do pretty well against them in the playoffs, it's hard for them to go at me, so.
Yeah, it's probably a pretty good time for you every time the first round comes around, basically.
Yeah, for sure.
But behind every great hockey player is a great hockey family. So what has your family done, your parents, your brother, all done to kind of make you the best that you can be off the ice?
My family's my biggest support system. They're all so loving, get me where I need to be, do the things that they needed to do for me, sacrifices they've made. So obviously I would not be here without them.
You come from a Jamaican background. What does it mean for yourself to be kind of an example for kids that come from backgrounds similar to yours?
Yeah, it's obviously important, and it's a big role kind of you have to embrace. I think a lot of kids look up to you, especially being a cultured athlete, and I just want to hope to inspire other colored players to hopefully get into the game and start loving the game.
You've been on the big stage with the Canadian U18 team. What was it like to pull on that jersey and then get that gold medal around your neck?
I think it's a feeling you can't even describe. It's World Juniors is the next step, but at that time, it was kind of the thing you wanted, and it was your goal as a kid.
You recently played in the CHL USA Prospects Challenge. It's a new event where the best kids from the CHL that are draft eligible will go up against the US NTDP team. What was that experience like for you, and how much did you enjoy that event?
It was so cool playing with a bunch of top players and against great competition too. It was just the atmosphere, the compete, the intensity was all great.
Before we get into some of the game tape, can you describe for anyone that hasn't seen you play what your style of play is like?
I'd say I'm a hard-nosed two-way defenseman that, shuts other teams' top lines down and creates secondary offense.
All right, now this first clip comes from that CHL USA game right at the end of the first period, and you ended up getting a penalty on the play, but man, you absolutely destroyed LJ Mooney on this play. Take me through your mindset on the play like this, and then the aftermath as well.
That's my game. I look for some big hits, and I saw the D kind of looking for the pass for the tip in, and I thought he would tip that puck in too, so kind of trying to time it, and then after, I'm not afraid to mix it up, and if a guy wants to kind of go toe-to-toe with me, I'm willing to accept that. I think that is exactly my game. I'm a tone setter, and I control the pace of the game, just my physicality and my intensity, so that's what I tried to bring to the table there.
All right, let's take a look at some of your offensive game here. A nice goal that you end up scoring on a play where you end up making a nice little dangle here and then just a snipe in the slot here. Talk me through a play like this off the face-off and what you're seeing here from the defender that you're able to actually dangle and then snipe on.
I was actually looking for Bertucci to kind of roll over, but it was a little bit of a miscommunication and try to make him bite with the shot, and he did, so space and time to pull it around him, and then one high glove.
Your offensive game has taken a step this year, but you are a defensive guy. What kind of clicked for you offensively this year that made you go, I can make big plays at that end of the ice too?
I think it was just timing. In my first year, I didn't play a lot at all. We had a great team. Brant Clark, Bo Akey in his draft year, obviously Punnett and Hache. Just learning from them. And then the second year was kind of like my first year, process of learning, trial and error. And then I'm trying to use this year as a stride year, just get going and use everything I've learned.
All right, now the defensive zone is where you're going to make your money in the future. On a play like this where you're retrieving a dump in, you just make a good play to kind of box out the forechecker and then make a simple pass like that results in a goal up at the other end of the ice. You don't get the assist, but it's the kind of play you have to make it as a defenseman. So talk me through this side of your game.
I think it's obviously important to be able to be good at breaking out pucks, and it's the hardest thing for a D to do, and just willing to be able to take a hit to make a play, and I think that's the main thing, and then having the IQ and vision to, make a simple bump.
Going back and retrieving pucks on a dump in, dealing with a forecheck, they're not necessarily the sexy play. They're not the thing that everyone sees on the highlight reel, but they're necessary for a successful team. How often are you working on things like that? And what is it specifically about plays like this where you're able to find success?
I think obviously my physical advantage, just not being afraid of the physicality, just being able to take a hit. And I think I'm working on it just kind of every day through video and talking with coaches and, obviously drills and practice, just taking them seriously and really using practice to get better too.
One of the things I've really enjoyed about your game this year is you've gotten so much better at give and go plays and knowing when to kind of jump into the rush. This play here is a great example of that, as the puck kind of works into the neutral zone and you're able to make a really nice play, just kind of joining the rush, little pass here, and then you get by the defender, make another pass to the front of the net. Talk about these kind of plays and the sense to be able to jump into the play.
I kind of just let my instincts take over in the offensive zone. And when I see an opening, I'm not afraid to take it, especially, the way I skate. So I kind of try to look for that certain times of the game.
Final clip I have for you is a nice little goal that starts with you kind of behind the net in your defensive end. You make the rush up ice, you make the pass off, and then you just drive the center lane, show off some of that skating to get in behind the defenders, and you just make a nice play in tight. Talk about your ability to take on play like this and being confident in not only your skating, but your overall game to be able to make this play and know that you can get back if you need to.
Yeah, I think that's just going back to what I do in the summer. And if you put in the work and, you sacrifice what you had to do to get better, you're going to be confident in making plays like that.
You're a kid who's got a ton of things going for you. You're a tough competitor yourself, but who's the toughest player that you've played up against?
I'd say my first year going against like a guy like Shane Wright, just so smart, so good with the puck and can make you look pretty silly if you're not focused in on him.
If I hit shuffle on your playlist, whether it's Spotify or Apple Music, who are 3 artists that are going to come up?
I'd say Lil Baby, Zach Bryan, and probably Drake.
It's a good mix of rap and country there, right?
Yeah.
Now, do you have a comfort movie or TV show?
Probably have to say The Notebook.
Oh, I respect that.
Yeah. And show The Last Dance. I think it's just a good thing to have on in the back, and it kind of motivates you too. So
now, if you could be playing any sport other than hockey, which sport would you want to play pro?
I'd say golf, probably. I love playing it in the summer, and it's super fun. Sometimes I wish I could be really, really good at it.
We've talked a lot about how good your game is. What's an area that you think you need a little bit of improvement in?
I think it's just like my situational awareness, knowing when to make that big impact play and when to hold up and throw a big hit or kind of make a big move. I think that's just kind of where I'm trying to get 1% better every single day.
When you talk to NHL scouts, I'm sure you've talked to some already. When they ask you, why should we draft you? What's your answer going to be?
I think I'm just the most dedicated, committed, and hardworking guy. Sacrifice and do absolutely anything for the team to win. And my dream is just to hoist the Stanley Cup, and that's what I want.
When your hockey career is done, hopefully 15, 20 years from now, what do you want people to remember about Kashawn Aitcheson, the person, not the player?
I think I just want people to remember me as a good person, big smile on their face, will lift people up and kind of try and be there for anyone that needs it and be a role model to younger players on my team too.
All right, Kashawn, I really appreciate you doing this. Thank you very much and good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you, you too.